Oh, hello. Where are you? Is there anyone there? Oh, there you are. Hi, everybody. Here we go. It's another Wednesday. Yes, these Wednesday nights keep coming around so quickly, don't you think? And also, we are halfway through August already. Tonight, we'll be talking about lots of things, including childhood fears. Did you have any childhood fears? And have any of those fears continued into your adult life? Also, Mr. Steve will be here talking about paranoia. Do you ever feel paranoid about the world around you? And of course, you are more than welcome to join in on the live chat as well. Yes, you can join in live with me. After all, it's just after 10 o'clock here in the UK. It's a Wednesday night, and this is Leighton Live English. Dip, dip, do. Here we go. Oh my goodness, it's Wednesday again. I can't believe how fast time is going. 2018 is like a blur. It is going by so quickly. I really can't believe it. Well, it's happening again. We are now live across the internet. Live on YouTube, in fact. And here we go again. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England, but I think you already know that. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? Well, are you happy? I really hope so. It is Wednesday, late and live. I will get straight to the point because there is one. I am here to help you with your English listening. So for all those who are here for the first time, can I say hello to you? Don't forget, I am here twice a week on Sunday and Wednesday. Sunday at 2 p.m. UK time and Wednesday at 10 p.m. UK time. You can find me right here on YouTube. Besides myself, there is also someone else who always likes to join in, especially when the live chat is on.
Did it get colder in here, or is it just me?
I think it's just you, Mr. Steve. Definitely. I'm pretty sure it's just you. So Mr. Steve coming a little bit later on. Lots of things to talk about, including childhood fears. Was there anything that made you feel afraid when you were young? And have some of those childhood fears continued into your adult life? So, by that, I mean the things that made you scared when you were young, do they still make you feel afraid? I can think of some good examples, maybe the dark. So perhaps when you were young, you were afraid of the dark. And maybe now you are still afraid of being in the dark. So there is a good example to help you think about your childhood fears. Also, Mr. Steve will be talking about other things later on, including paranoia. It would appear that these days there is a lot of distrust of those in authority. Now, more than ever, it would appear that people don't trust the people in authority, those who hold office or those who have high responsibility or they have a job that is well paid, maybe in the government or some other area. So it would appear that we are more suspicious than we used to be. Is it so? Do you worry about who is watching you? Do you worry about who is getting your information? So have we all become a little bit too paranoid? That's a great word, by the way. If you are paranoid, it means you fear everything. You believe that there are things happening around you that other people cannot see. For example, maybe you think people are listening to your conversations, or maybe you are being watched by strangers around the world. In fact, I'm having that very same feeling right now. I'm feeling right now as if lots and lots of eyes are staring at me. Does that mean I'm paranoid? No, of course not. It means I'm live on YouTube on a Wednesday night, and I hope you are okay. Some things to show you. We were out walking the other night and we saw a very unusual view. And here it is. Would you like to see it? So this is a rather unusual view of the local landmark, which is not very far away from my house. So there you can see it. Do you know what it is? It is a rather different view of the thing we see all the time from my studio. So there it is. That is the Wrekin Hill. The Wrekin. And that is a famous landmark in the area in which I live. So we filmed that the other night, and I was quite surprised to see that from different angles, this particular hill looks very different. So from one angle, it looks very long, and from another angle, it looks very narrow. So there you can see the Wrekin Hill from a rather unusual angle, not the normal angle, not the normal view that we have from my studio window. And also whilst out walking, we saw this lovely old church as well. Again, not very far away from where I live. But I thought it was quite a nice area, and if you look closely in the distance as we move around, right in the distance, that is where I am right now. So right in the distance, the very distance, is where I am standing at this very moment in time. Lots and lots of lovely views, and one more before we continue. Oh, look at this. Oh, isn't that nice? Another nice view there. Looking out across the countryside of Shropshire. A lot of people ask where I live. The place I live in is called Shropshire. And that is in the United Kingdom, or more precisely, England. And that is where I am right now. On a Wednesday night, it's late and live English. Not only me, there is also Mr. Steve, and of course, you as well on the live chat. Let's have a quick look at the live chat, shall we? Because I don't want to ignore the live chatters, or else they might get a little bit angry. So let's have a look at the live chat. There it is. The big question is, who was first on the live chat? Who was first? Let's have a look, shall we? Oh, that's very interesting. So tonight, the first person on the live chat is Belarusia. And of course, you know what that means. It means you get a big, super duper Mr. Duncan round of applause. Well done, Belarusia. Well done for being first on the live chat. And in second place, we have Alice. Hello, my lovely teacher. Hello to you as well. And Alex. Now, Alex, I'm not sure if I should break the rules for you, but you are in third place. Maybe next week you will be first. So maybe you should be a little bit quicker with your finger, maybe on Sunday. So perhaps on Sunday you will be first on the live chat. So better luck next time. Shirin is here. Hello, Shirin. And also to Mosaid Farok. Hello to you. Is it your first time? I would like to know if it is your first time on the live chat. That would be super. Alex, once again, saying hello to everyone. Also, we have Palmyra here. Hello, Palmyra. Lots of regular viewers. Akil. Hello, Akil. I want to improve my language. Can you help me? Yes, I can. I can help you to improve your English listening, your English speaking, and your general English. So that means everything involved in using the English language, whether it is spoken, written, and of course, if you are listening to English. And that is the reason why I do this live stream. It is a very good way of improving your listening skills. Louis Mendez, hello Louis. Yes, let's start another lesson, and we have already. MX25, hello to you. I haven't seen you for a long time. MS Fairy says hello. Hello to you as well. Thank you very much. Thanks also for your email. I received a lovely email from you at the weekend. So thank you very much for your very kind words concerning my lessons. I'm very moved by what you had to say. And can I also say thank you to all those who sent messages on Sunday for my birthday. Thank you so much. I had around about 250 messages on email, on my Facebook, and through YouTube as well. So lots and lots of birthday greetings from last Sunday. So thanks a lot for that. I was very overwhelmed. And did you see Mr. Steve? He gave me a big surprise at the end of Sunday's live stream. I was very, very surprised, quite shocked in fact. I almost cried, by the way. I was very close to tears. I'm not sure if you noticed, but I almost started to cry like a baby. Mavi, hello to Mavi from Turkey. Hello, Turkey. And a big hello to everyone watching in that particular place. Gosia is in Poland. Alex says, I can't believe it. What? What can't you believe? Please share it with us all. Alice, oh, it's that t-shirt again. I really love it. It's really vintage. It reminds me of my childhood. Thank you, Alice. So yes, this is a vintage t-shirt that I'm wearing tonight. It looks like something from many years ago. So when we talk about vintage, it means something old or something that was used or something that was around in the past and it has been kept, normally in good condition. Vintage. Paranoid. The paranoid is never entirely mistaken, or the paranoid are never entirely mistaken. That was a quote by Freud. Yes, people that are paranoid, if you are a paranoid person, you might sometimes be right. But maybe most of the time you'll be wrong. So maybe sometimes your paranoia, the feeling of suspicion, might be right. But perhaps for most of the time it's wrong. Hello, Gretel. Mr. Steve can't be absent. No, he isn't. Don't worry. Mr. Steve will be here in a few moments. So please, everyone, all you fans of Mr. Steve, don't worry. He will be here. Rosa, hello, Mr. Duncan, and everybody. We like your t-shirt. Is it a birthday gift? No, it isn't. I've had this t-shirt for about 2 years. I'm still afraid of remembering my bugbears, the things that scared you when you were young. Thank you, Sergio, for that. That's a great word, by the way, bugbears. The bugbears are the things that upset you, or things that are on your mind, something that annoys you over a long period of time, or maybe makes you feel afraid. Your bugbears. That's a great word, by the way. Thanks for introducing that tonight. Reba. Hello, Reba from Iraq. And I am watching you from Turkey. Hello to you. Alice says, I was afraid of any kind of lizard, amphibian and snake. Well, can I just tell you something, Alice? A little bit later on, we are going to take a look at my spiders. Yes, the spiders are still living in the house. We are, at the moment, taking care of some spiders. And I haven't showed the spiders for a long time, so I thought tonight we would show the spiders, or at least one of them. And the spider is doing something very unusual. Hello from Sao Paulo in Brazil. Hi to you. Thanks a lot for joining us. Mirella. Hello, Mirella. I don't think I've seen your name before. Is it your first time? Reda is here as well. We miss you, Mr. Duncan. Thank you, Reda. Well, don't forget, I am here twice a week. Twice a week. On Wednesday and also Sunday. I will give you the details once more later on. Alex says, it didn't happen, all right. Maybe next time I will get revenge. Oh, I think Alex is talking about being first on the live chat. Anyway, maybe better luck next time. That's what I say. Kamara, thanks a lot for teaching us. You are the best teacher I know. Thank you, Kamara. That's very kind of you. And we are almost up to date with the live chat. Mexico is watching. Galileo. Hello, Galileo. That's a great name, by the way. Anbaya. Sorry about that. Anbaya. Hello to Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan from Pakistan. Hello to you. Paulo is here watching in Brazil. Oh, it would appear that I have a lot of people watching in Brazil. I've noticed this on Wednesday. Every Wednesday, I have noticed that we do get a lot of people watching in South America. And that is the reason why I do this late and live English. There you can see the time now is 25 minutes past 10 o'clock at night. So all my neighbours are now asleep. They are all asleep in their beds. But I am still up. So it is very late at night now here in the UK. So for those watching in South America, it is still morning or maybe almost midday. So that's the reason why I do that. That is the reason why we do the late and live. I also believe we have some people watching in the USA. So if there is anyone watching in the United States at the moment, please say a big hi on the live chat. Go on, don't be shy. Give it a try. You never know, you might like it. So the live chat is very busy. Would you like to have a look at my giant spider? Now these are the spiders that we are looking after at the moment. So if you don't like spiders, if you don't like big spiders, you can cover your eyes now like this. And then I will tell you when you can look again. Okay, so here is the spider. One of them, we have 3 at the moment that we are taking care of for one of Mr. Steve's friends. So here is one of the spiders doing something very unusual. Can you see what it's doing? So this is one of the tarantulas, and it is cleaning itself. It is actually having a wash. It is cleaning its legs. And I was watching tonight. I was actually sitting on the floor watching the spider, and I couldn't work out what it was doing. So I got really close with the camera, and then I realized it was actually cleaning itself, which is something I've never seen before. I didn't realize that tarantulas cleaned themselves, but obviously they do. So there is the tarantula, and yes, it is big. So for those who don't like spiders, please keep your eyes covered for another 10 seconds. And I think that particular spider is maybe starting to lose its shell. So spiders sometimes will also lose their outer skin. They will shed their skin. So I have a strange feeling that this spider might be preparing to lose its skin. So as the spider grows, it has to lose its skin so it can get larger. So I think that's what it is doing. Okay, the spider has now gone. It is there no more. So for those who were hiding, you can now come back. The spider has gone. Would you like to see something very cute now? So here, once again, some wildlife that I filmed 2 nights ago whilst walking around the village. And there you can see some little baby cows. Oh, look, there they are. Can you see them? So in this field, there are lots of little newborn cows. They are called calves. Calves. So calves are newborn cows. And there you can see a closer look. Aren't they lovely? And they look very, very inquisitive. They look quite interested in what is going on around them. Now, I would say that these calves are probably about maybe 2 weeks old, or maybe even 3 weeks old. But they are not very old. Aren't they lovely? The thing I love about calves is that their legs always look too long. It always looks as if their legs are far too long. So there, one of the views from the other night, some little baby calves. Aren't they cute? And 1 or 2 of them were having difficulty to walk. They were having difficulty standing up. So maybe they are just 2 weeks old. That's what I think anyway. So I hope you enjoyed that. Some little baby cows. Some of them are cows and some of them are little baby bulls. So in a few weeks' time, they will be running around in the field and having lots of fun. But at the moment, they are rather nervous. Live chat, and then we will have a look at one of our full English lessons. And then Mr. Steve will be joining us as well. So the live chat is now on. We will have another look. Yes, the spider is very clean. Thank you, Mavi, for that. I think the spider was actually cleaning itself. I hate spiders since I watched Lord of the Rings, says Bettel. Oh yes, I remember there was a scene in Lord of the Rings where that giant spider was coming down from the web. Yes, well, I'm pleased to say that the spiders in my house are not as big as that spider. So don't worry too much about it. Gretel, your pet looks so fluffy. Yes, the spider looks very furry. Bettel, the spider looks very impressive. Oh, thank you. I'm glad you like it. Hi, everybody, friends from Jalisco in Mexico. And that comes from Oscar. Hello, Oscar Sanchez. Nice to see you here. Palmyra is here, or Palmyra in Lithuania, where it is now after midnight in Lithuania. Alex says, I like spiders. They are killing the flies in my room, but they are not so big. Well, that's good. I'm not sure if I would like to have a room full of tarantulas walking around on my wall, to be honest. I think I would be very scared indeed. Kennedy Pyrus says, so cute. Oh, yes, the lovely young cows. Yes, they were lovely, yes. Very nice. My nephew has a little baby cow, but it is not a real one. It is a doll. Thank you, Gretel, for that. Sergio is here. Yes, vintage means something being older than 25 years and of great value. Yes, something vintage. We often use the word vintage to mean old, so something that is from the past can also be vintage. We will often use that word very loosely to mean something from the past. So let's have a look at one of my full English lessons, and then we're going to do something very unusual. We are going to go into the kitchen where Mr. Steve is going to show us what is in our fridge. Do you have a refrigerator? Do you have a fridge in your house that is full of stuff that you don't eat or that you haven't eaten for a long time? So we're going to do something very unusual in a few moments. We're going to have a look in our fridge, and it will be completely live. It will be completely unrehearsed. So whatever we find in that fridge, we will show to you, however embarrassing it might be. So here we go. It is an excerpt from one of my live English lessons, and this is taken from Live English, or should I say Full English, number 12. Well, a big happy hello to you. My name is Mr. Duncan, and I'm so pleased to see you here again for another Full English lesson. This is Full English number 12, which means that I have now made a dozen episodes of Full English. A dozen of something is 12. Half a dozen of something is 6. And 2 dozen of something is 24. Do you know how many things make up a gross? 12 dozen things is a gross, which is 144. The word gross can also mean horrible or disgusting. The way he picks his nose is so gross. What's that? Oh, apparently we are now behind schedule, so I'd better get on with today's Full English lesson right now. Do you believe in fate? Do you see your life as being one controlled by fate? The word fate means the course of a person's life or the events of someone's life that are out of their control. Fate means that what will happen, and there is nothing that can be done to stop it. Imagine your life being like a road. All the things you will encounter and experience are already there, waiting for you to meet them. A predetermined outcome is fate. Some people believe that their life is already mapped out, that their fate is already sealed. Of course, there are those who believe the opposite and feel that life is something we determine for ourselves, that each person has ultimate control of their own destiny. Sometimes an event or situation occurs that might appear fateful. An inevitable event might seem fateful. In English, there is the phrase fate worse than death, which means something that is really bad or something bad that is about to happen or has happened already. Do you believe in fate? here is something that can come in very handy if you are out in the wilderness. This is a piece of tree. It's a stick. A small piece of branch from a tree can be called a stick. A length of branch that is not very heavy or thick can be called a stick. You can use a stick to support yourself as you walk. A large amount of sticks can be used to make a shelter or a raft to float on water. You can use a stick as a weapon to defend yourself with. And a stick makes a very good back scratcher. Oh yes, a stick is a very useful thing indeed. The word stick can also mean to fix two things together, normally with glue. You stick two things together. As an idiom, stick together means stay with each other. Whatever happens, you and I will always stick together. It's time now to take a look at another buzzword. A buzzword is a phrase or sentence that is used a lot during a certain period or is generally popular. Today's buzzword is corrupt. This is a word that seems to come around again and again. The word corrupt means the action of being dishonest in return for money or personal gain. A person with high authority might be found to be corrupt if he or she is giving preferential treatment to someone in return for money or favours. You scratch my back and I will scratch yours. If you give something to me, then I will do something for you. More often than not, corruption does involve bribery taking place between powerful people. Bribery is the action of exchanging money for personal favours or gain. Corruption is the noun that names the act of being corrupt. We will always describe a person involved in corruption as being corrupt. A corrupt politician. The official has been charged with corruption. That person has accepted money or gifts in return for giving favours to someone. That person is corruptible, easily bored, dissolute, self-indulgent, and morally depraved. Yes, it is Late and Live English, and there you just saw one of the excerpts that I often show on my live streams of one of my full English lessons. Don't forget there are lots and lots of lessons on my YouTube channel. Yes, it is a Wednesday night. Every Wednesday we are late and live. And now we are going to do something very different, something quite unusual, in fact. Now, in the past, I used to go into the kitchen and quite often I would make a drink for myself or do something maybe connected to cooking. But today we are going to do something very different. Mr. Steve is now live in the kitchen and we are going to take a live look inside our refrigerator. Mr. Steve, can you hear me?
I can indeed. Can you hear and see me?
I can.
Oh, this is exciting. We haven't done a live stream like this with you in one room and me in the kitchen. I've been outside before, but this is very, very different.
This is very unusual indeed. So, first of all, I believe you have something to show us.
Oh, well, I've got the register, of course.
Ah,
I've got the register, so I've been upstairs on my laptop. And when you started the live stream, I have, as I have been for the last 2 or 3 times now, looking at who is coming on and ticking them off on my little register. And I've been very busy because it's quite hard work doing this because there's so many messages coming on. You've probably already given the applause to Belarusia. She was first today, wasn't she?
that's right.
But Alex McWild has asked at least twice. He wants some applause as well, even though he wasn't first today.
Yes. You know what I think, Steve? I think Alex is a bit cheeky.
Well, yes, he's asked for applause twice. Do you think we should give him some applause?
Maybe on Sunday.
Oh, come on, Alex. Well, I would have given you some applause, but Mr. Duncan, being the strict teacher he is, has refused you applause. But I'll give you some. I'll give you some live applause anyway. But you might get to try and come on first on Sunday, and you'll get the proper applause.
Well,
we've got Caridas is here.
Steve.
Yes.
That's the whole point of it.
Oh, I know exactly.
That's the whole point of being first on the live chat, so you get the applause.
Francisco Munoz is here. Gossia Eagle. Gretel Luciano is here. You probably said earlier. Connell from Azerbaijan is here. Got it eventually. Luis Mendez.
That's not easy to say.
Luis Mendez says, "Here we go again," because obviously he was here on Sunday. Maybe is here. MS Ferry 4, MX25A. Hello, Palmyra from Lithuania. Rita Maria Gomez from Sao Paulo. Rosa, Sergio, and we have quite a lot of new people who I'd like to mention, who I've written in pen upstairs while I was watching Mr. Duncan. And we have Masid Farok, we have Ettore Morello, and Akil wants to improve the language. Can we help? Yes, we can. Just keep watching and watching Mr. Duncan's 500 lessons and your English will definitely get better. T-Gen Aran says that they've missed us a lot. Diego Pope says hi. And we've got Mame in Senegal watching tonight. Says hi to everyone around the world.
Oh.
I don't know whether you've been with us before, Mame, but welcome, very much welcome from Senegal. Nazar Rashid, Wikar M says hi again. Layla says hi. Reba Cordy, I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, is from Iraq, Kurdistan, but is actually in Turkey at the moment, visiting an uncle. So that's quite interesting. Ricardo is here. Elmaz is here. Mirella is here. Galileo. There's a famous name, if ever there was one. Galileo Valquez. I'm guessing you're from Italy. And that's about it, I think. Oh, we've got Rafa RS is in London.
Oh.
Watching us in London. And we've got Anabia Syed in Pakistan, Karachi. So that's just a few of the new people that we've got on today.
Incredible.
On the list. The list keeps getting bigger and bigger, Mr. Duncan.
Well, it must be over 300.
It's about 300 now. 280 something it was. And that's just people. That is just people who are making comments. So it's a full. I'm going to have to give up my day job just to keep track of everybody that's watching us, Mr. Duncan.
That is actually brilliant because you do spend a lot of time compiling this register.
Oh, I'm exhausted.
I
can't possibly do anything else.
It's almost become an obsession.
It's an obsession. I'm obsessed, and I like to know where you're from. So please, when you put a message on, particularly at the beginning, if you could say where you are from, which country you're from. I've got a lot here already, but if you could just do that, that would be a great help, because it's nice to know where everybody is watching from. And it gives us, we can picture where you are around the world. In fact, we might get a big world map up. That might be a good idea, Mr. Duncan. If we get a big world map and we stick pins in it.
Yes, I'm going to try and sort something out. Maybe not a real thing. Maybe something virtual on the internet, or maybe I can construct something.
Well, I'm in the kitchen, and it's not looking very tidy.
No. Well, we did have a bit of a rush tonight, didn't we?
We had a bit of a rush tonight, we did. And so I actually prepared a little meal for us. Mr. Duncan, whose eating habits we discuss virtually on every live stream. Mr. Duncan's eating habits are, well, they leave a lot to be desired.
Oh.
Leave a lot to be desired, which means they're not as good as they should be. And Mr. Duncan had nothing to eat. He often does this on a day when he's doing a live stream. He has nothing to eat, and he had a little bit of cereal this morning, and then said, "Oh, Mr. Duncan, I don't feel like doing the live stream tonight. I don't feel very well." And I said, "Well, when did you last have something to eat?" And he said 9 o'clock this morning. So no wonder he wasn't feeling very well. So I made him some beans on toast.
I was a little bit fatigued.
I made you some beans on toast, and here's the evidence.
Yes.
That's what's left. There's the empty bean can.
We have such a glamorous life.
A glamorous life. This is what we have to do on a live stream day. We haven't got time to eat properly, so it's just beans on toast.
Because a lot of people think if you have a lot of viewers or subscribers on YouTube, everyone assumes that you must be like a millionaire and you live this extravagant, wealthy lifestyle.
Well, of course, we revealed that we couldn't afford to buy a 100-foot yacht.
No.
With the video clip on Sunday.
No.
About all we can afford is about a 5-foot rusty old thing that's about. Anyway, that was a bit of fun, wasn't it, Mr. Duncan? We certainly haven't got anybody who's looking after us, cooking our meals, and making sure, putting our makeup on, and relaxing us before a live stream.
So an hour before we started, we were sitting at the dining table and we were eating beans on toast. That's it.
That's the hedonistic lifestyle that we lead.
I would hardly call it hedonistic.
Yes, hedonistic. That's the lifestyle of YouTube stars.
Yes.
If only we were. But
Well,
no, we don't want to be that. We just want to. You just love teaching English to everybody around the world, and that's what we're doing. And we're going to look inside the fridge for some bizarre reason, Mr. Duncan.
Well, we're not looking inside just any old fridge. This is our fridge, and I decided to do this tonight because I've noticed over the past few weeks that we have a lot of stuff in the fridge that we don't eat anymore, and some of the stuff in there, some of the food in there has actually gone mouldy. It's actually gone bad.
Mouldy food? No wonder we're not feeling very well if we're eating mouldy food.
Yes, well, that's my concern.
We haven't got time to even throw out the old food. We've got to. All our time is devoted solely to these live streams. Every week, twice a week.
It's nothing to do with being. It's nothing to do with being poor.
No, it's just it's laziness, really. How often do you actually clean? In fact, how often do you clean your fridge out? Not very often. In fact, we had to defrost the freezer last weekend because we couldn't get the drawers out anymore. Has anybody experienced that, where you have to defrost your freezer but you keep leaving it because it's a sort of a day-long job, isn't it, to defrost a freezer?
It is.
And you have to take everything out. You have to either wait till the stocks have gone low, or you have to put it in a bag, and then you have to put hot water bowls inside. Oh, it was. But now at least we can get into the deep freeze without breaking the drawers. In fact, I had to smash it open, didn't I, Mr. Duncan? Because there was ice blocking one of the drawers. We couldn't get into the top one.
That's it. Yeah, well, that was the deep freeze.
That was the deep freeze. We're talking about the refrigerator.
Yeah.
Which should always be kept between 2 and 8 degrees.
Yes.
By the way.
But at the moment, it's full of rubbish and crap.
Do you want me to have a look inside?
Let's have a look. Now, this is something we haven't rehearsed. So everything you see now is real. It's 100% reality you're watching here. This is all the stinky, horrible, disgusting stuff that we have in our fridge. So please, Steve, be the
I've
master.
just found here as well, lying around on one of the work surfaces. It's a banana that I ate about 4 hours ago. A banana skin.
Good.
And but anyway, I'm going to go in the fridge, and whatever we see, we shall see.
Mr. Steve? Mr.
Yes.
Steve?
I'm back.
Open the fridge door.
Are you going to give me a countdown?
No.
There we go.
Wow.
This is very stressful for me because I don't like to leave the fridge door open.
Shall we have a round of applause for the fridge?
Right. We're just diving in. Can you hear me?
No.
Right, so we've got... look what I've picked up first, Mr. Duncan.
Oh.
This is what is contributing towards your ever-expanding waistline.
I know what you're doing here. You're trying to shame me.
This is the mayonnaise, which has the shape that you're rapidly turning into. You
Yes.
ought to see how much mayonnaise Mr. Duncan puts on virtually everything he eats.
Why did you pick that first?
Because it was there. Look what's left here, Mr. Duncan. Guess what this is?
Oh.
This. Oh, if I can get the lid off.
Oh.
This is the remains of your birthday cake.
Oh, look, it's what's left of my birthday cake from Sunday.
We've eaten about 3/4 of it, and we've still got the rest to eat.
Oh.
Look, there's a candle.
Oh. We can save that for next year.
It's probably full of preservatives, so we probably could. We didn't have a piece today. We were going to have a piece with a cup of tea outside, but it was raining.
Yeah, I had a piece yesterday, but it gave me indigestion.
Look what I found here, Mr. Duncan.
Oh,
Evidence.
dear. Here we go.
Right, here is some cheese.
Oh no.
What does that look like, Mr. Duncan?
That does not look good.
Do you think we could still eat that?
Nope. See,
That is mouldy cheese.
That's the sort of thing I was talking about just now with all the rubbish that we have, all the stinky, horrible rubbish.
I'm going to put that straight in the bin.
Yes, in a moment.
There we go. Let's have another look. Well, we've got... oh, look at this. This is posh. We've got some margarine.
Is it margarine?
It's Bertolli spread. So this is like butter to put on your bread, but it's made of olive oil. And with a name like that, it must come all the way from Italy, you would think, wouldn't you? So I don't know who makes that. There we go. Some scrapings out of there, because Mr. Duncan likes a lot of butter. This isn't butter. This is a kind of margarine, but so it's made of vegetable oil. As opposed to butter, which is made of animal fat.
Okay.
Although usually we do eat butter.
Show us something healthy.
How about this then? This is your spread. This is your equivalent to butter. Now this is one of these modern types of butter, the spreads that are supposed to lower your cholesterol levels. So you've been taking that. Supposedly, to improve your health. But of course, it doesn't go down very fast. I noticed that the butter goes down a lot faster than this health spread.
Yeah, apparently that's supposed to lower your cholesterol.
Oh. Now here's something that I make curries with
Ooh.
on a Friday night. This is tikka masala sauce. So I will make a curry with that, and I'm going to give it a sniff because I like this. Oh, smell those spices, Mr. Duncan. Oh, I can't wait for Friday.
Okay, calm down.
What else have we got?
Let's have a look at... Could you show us something else that's really stinky and old?
Stinky and old? There really isn't anything stinky and old. Let's have a look.
There must be something right at the back.
That's been in there a long time.
What is it?
It's red onion chutney.
Oh, I remember that. Your sister bought that for us.
Oh, so that's been in there since Christmas.
Yes.
So do you think we should take that out?
I think we can leave that in there for a few more months.
Mind you, it says here, best before December 2020.
Oh, okay.
In that case, we can keep it. I'll put it back in.
I think that might refer to it unopened. What's Steve up to? Come on, Steve.
Here's something healthy, some strawberries.
Oh, finally.
Finally, some healthy strawberries. I had some of those tonight. Of course, Mr. Duncan didn't. Always wash your fruit before you eat it. I'm obsessed with that, aren't I, Mr. Duncan?
You certainly are.
Washing my fruit because you don't know who's handled it, what insects have been crawling over there. And anyway, they spray them with insecticides. So you need to wash that off as well. So I'm obsessed with washing all my fruit. Mind you, having said that, I do far unhealthier things than that.
Yes. Do you know what I think, Steve?
What's that, Mr. Duncan?
I think you are paranoid.
I am a little paranoid. Here are some protein-packed bars, which shouldn't even be in the fridge at all.
Why did you put them in there?
I don't know why they're in there. I must have done that by mistake.
I think that's
Now,
old
look.
age.
Look, Mr. Duncan, that fridge door has been open for about 4 minutes. That's the worst thing you can do.
Oh, calm down.
Because it'll take a long time to get back down to its optimal temperature.
It's fine.
I'm obsessed with these things.
I know you are.
Right. Here's some milk. Moo milk.
I'm sure everyone has milk in their fridge.
Everyone has milk in their refrigerator. You, of course, have got Ribena.
Ah, yeah. A lot of people ask, they ask, Mr. Duncan, what's that red stuff you keep drinking?
Ah,
And so now you know.
it's Ribena, which is a blackcurrant drink, which Mr. Duncan loves very much and has always drunk it ever since I've known him.
Did you know, Steve? Steve,
What's that, Mr. Duncan?
did you know that the company that makes Ribena is now owned by a Japanese company?
Really?
Did you know that?
I do now.
Yes.
Right, we've got some tomato sauce
Ah,
and some salad cream. I don't know why we keep them in the fridge because they don't need to be kept in the fridge.
but it does say. Steve,
Oh, look.
Steve,
Look
Steve.
what we've got here. Guess what this is, Mr. Duncan? Well,
It's
you
just-
do know what it is.
Are you ignoring me now?
I can't hear you.
Well, I'm talking to you.
What did you say? Répétez, s'il vous plaît.
I'll come in there in a minute and I will slam your head in that fridge.
Répétez, s'il vous plaît.
I will slam your head in that fridge door.
He would as well.
Not for the first time today. So, Steve, what have you got in your hand?
It's a sweet potato.
Oh, okay.
That's the most exotic thing we've got in our fridge.
Wow.
I also have some oranges,
Okay.
which I keep in the fridge because they keep much longer in the fridge, as do apples. Although some fruit you should never put in a fridge, and that's including bananas. Apparently they go off quicker if you put bananas in the fridge, but not oranges, or apples.
That's very interesting because there are lots of things. There are lots of things that you shouldn't put in the fridge, including bread.
Yes, apparently bread doesn't keep very well in the fridge. Although I don't understand that because I always used to keep it in the fridge.
We did, didn't we?
Yes, I think it was all right. I think you can keep bread in the fridge. But bananas, apparently, you shouldn't put bananas in a fridge. I don't know why we're giving advice. We're supposed to be teaching English. I don't know why we think we can give advice on what to keep in your fridge and what not to keep.
Well, it's all part of life.
It's
English,
all part of life. We're just talking about things.
Yes. Well, you're answering your own questions. That
Is
might be the
anybody
weird.
saying anything on the live stream?
Yes, someone said you should shut the door.
I know. I will shut the door. I'm going to do it now.
Poor Steve.
Eggs, of course.
Yes, I broke one the other day. I broke an egg the other day.
You broke an egg.
I was trying to make some poached eggs for Mr. Steve, and I tried to crack the egg, but it slipped out of my hand and it fell. So yes,
Now you tell me.
I was very angry. I said some very naughty swear words, Steve.
Some profanities.
Profanities. Yes.
Profanities, some swear words, Mr. Duncan.
I
I'm
said
glad
some-
I wasn't here around to listen to that.
Yes. So that's it. So I'm not sure if that was a success, but maybe in a year from now, maybe a year's time from this date, we will do what's in the fridge again, and maybe those pieces of cheese will still be in there 12 months from now.
No, I've put them on the side. They're going straight in the bin.
Haven't we got some other cheese?
We have. Do you want to see that, Mr. Duncan?
Just to show you what we normally have. This is the most amazing cheese in the world.
Here we go. Here's some
Cheese.
extra mature cheddar.
So, what are you doing there with your fingers?
Nothing.
Are you covering up the label?
Well, we don't want to advertise, Mr. Duncan.
But isn't this Prince Charles?
Extra mature cheddar.
Is it-
Cheddar cheese, of course, is probably the most popular cheese, I would say, in the UK, certainly in England.
Yes. I was trying to ask you then, is that the cheese that is made by Prince Charles?
Yes, I think he personally makes it.
Yes, because not a lot of people know that outside the UK, that Prince Charles, the Queen of England's son, actually has a food company that makes food,
He does.
organic
He's got
food.
his own food company.
Yes, organic food. And this cheese has been made by Prince Charles himself.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he milks the cows.
He milks the cows in the morning, he takes the bucket of milk, and then he goes along to where the milk is sort of fermented to make the cheese. And then he gets into this big bathtub and he steps on all the curd to make the actual cheese. And that's how it gets that extra special strong cheese smell, because it's actually the stinky feet of Prince Charles.
But if I'd known that, I would never have bought it, Mr. Duncan.
If
However,
you're-
it's cheddar. If people don't know,
Cheddar.
is a hard cheese.
Yes,
It's not a soft cheese
that's it.
like a lot of cheeses are, particularly in France and on the continent, as we say. But when we say on the continent, we mean Europe. They have a lot of soft cheeses, but we have mainly hard cheeses.
Yes.
You could hit someone over the head with that and cause an injury.
But talking of Prince Charles again, there are people who are very lucky, because sometimes you might get a block of cheese and it has one of Prince Charles's toenails in it,
Oh, you're just being silly now, Mr. Duncan.
if you're very lucky. And apparently people are selling them on eBay.
It goes very nicely in beans. It's a very strong cheese, very strong.
Strong.
And it's very nice if you add it to beans.
We like strong cheese.
We always like to melt cheese into our beans.
Mm.
And I also like to add some mixed herbs as well.
You know what, Steve? One night we should do this live. We should go into the kitchen and we should actually make some beans on toast live.
How exciting, Mr. Duncan.
I think people would like that. Okay, let's have a quick vote. Who would like to see Mr. Steve and myself making baked beans on toast in the kitchen? Maybe we could do it next Wednesday.
Hopefully nobody.
So anyone who wants to see a live cooking session where we are making beans on toast, I think it will be amazing. I think it will be almost as exciting as looking inside our fridge.
I think we may be losing viewers if we're not careful, Mr. Duncan.
No, there's lots of people on now. Everyone wants to see you make some beans on toast.
Do they?
Yes, we've got some votes here.
Yes. But you see, I also like my beans on toast with spiced up a bit. As
Yes,
we
you
say.
like.
I like to put some curry powder.
Yes, you put curry in your beans.
Curry, I either like it with cheese and some mixed herbs, or with curry powder.
Mm.
Curried beans. I'll tell you, if you make your own curried beans, it's a lot cheaper than buying. Because if you buy curried beans, they're a lot more expensive than the normal beans. But all you have to do is buy some curry powder and just add a teaspoon into that, and it costs you pence or virtually nothing. So I might make my own curried beans, as probably do a lot of people.
I think so.
Oh, this is fascinating, Mr. Duncan.
It's good. No, I've enjoyed this. Would you like to come into the studio?
I would.
Okay, then
And
just
I'll bring my register with me. And if anybody wants me to mark them off on the register, please let me know. And I will mark you off live to billions of people who are watching us right now.
I'm not sure if it's billions.
I think it's billions, Mr. Duncan.
Okay.
I usually say millions, but in fact, I think it's billions.
Thank you. So, Steve will come back in, but first of all, can I just say that we have had a lot of people saying that they would like to see us make beans on toast next Wednesday.
Well, if this is what the people want, this is what the people will have.
So someone is just asking on the live chat, poached egg. Well, poached egg is egg that's cooked outside the shell. So you cook the egg, but not in the shell. You cook it outside. You steam the egg or you boil it in water, but outside the shell. So you take the shell off first. Right, Steve is coming back in.
We sometimes cook a poached egg and then put it on top of the beans. And on beans on toast, we put a poached egg on top. We can do that as well at the same time.
Well, maybe you could have a poached egg on toast and I could have beans on toast.
No, we've got to have the beans on toast with the egg on top.
Okay.
We've got to have the full Monty, as they say, the everything, the whole experience.
The full Monty.
The full Monty, yes, that's everything.
Wasn't that a movie? Wasn't that a movie with naked men?
I think it was, yes.
Yes.
But there are, as we well know, different explanations, different meanings to different words. And there's all sorts of insects crawling all over the windows here. There's moths.
They're attracted to the light.
I've got a big light in front of me, so obviously I look at my best for the viewers, but it's attracting moths.
But we need the light,
all
you see.
around the countryside.
Steve, we need the light because if you didn't have the light, we wouldn't be able to see you. It's very useful.
And I'd look 10 years older.
Okay, Mr.
Right, I'm coming back in, Mr.
Wait
Duncan.
there. Don't go yet. I want to make it look professional.
Oh, yes, always professional.
Dear me. Mr. Steve, thank you very much. And he's now going to come back in the studio. Da-da-da-da-da. It is a Wednesday night, 10 minutes past 11. Wow, already. I must admit, I think tonight's live stream has gone by very quickly. I'm just bringing Mr. Steve over slightly. Come on, come closer. He always seems so shy when he comes into the studio. It's Mr. Steve, everyone.
Shy at all. Hello again.
Mr. Steve.
Mr. Steve. Have I shut the fridge door? I can't remember. Did I shut the fridge door, Mr. Duncan?
I think it's your age.
I can't remember.
I've noticed recently you've become very forgetful.
Pardon?
You've become very forgetful and deaf as well.
I'm not forgetful. I'm not forgetful at all. I remember everything. My memory is pin sharp.
So why did you put those peanut bars in the fridge? They don't belong there.
I'm not quite sure about that. They shouldn't have been in there, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah.
I was in a rush when I came back,
Yes.
and I put them... Well, I mean, some people like chocolate at refrigerator temperature, don't they? So,
Yes.
that's my excuse,
Still very unusual.
and I'm sticking to it.
Okay, then.
So, yes.
Before we carry on, here are some interesting words and expressions, and I thought this is a good one because I was asked about this a few weeks ago and I forgot to answer the question. So here is a word that we often use in English, and it's one that can have more than one meaning. Would you say, Steve?
Put off.
Yes. So first of all, put off. If you put off something, you postpone it or you cancel it. So you put off something to a later date. So you might put off a show. So maybe you put it off and then you do it on another day, or you hold or you perform on another day. So you put off something quite often. Certainly at this time of year, when lots of places around the villages where we live, they have little celebrations or fetes or little parties. And now and again, when the weather turns bad, as it has recently, we've had a lot of rain over the past few days, they might put off the party. So they put off the party, they put it off.
Or postpone.
Yes.
You could use that word as well.
So they put it off to another day. They put it off to another time. So it will happen, but not on the date it should have. Okay.
You could have a meeting at work, couldn't you? And that may be rearranged or put off
Yes.
until a later date because maybe there weren't enough people there in the office at the time, or something else happened that was more important, and you say, well, let's put that off until another date or another time.
Yes. Also, put off can mean to repulse someone or to make a person feel repulsed by something. You put someone off. Maybe you talk about something horrible or disgusting while someone is eating, and they might say, "Oh, do you have to talk about that? You are putting me off my supper. You are putting me off my food. You are making me not want to eat because of the disgusting thing you are talking about."
We had somebody, when we were showing the spiders
Yes.
a few weeks ago, we had quite a few comments from people saying, "Oh, do you have to show those spiders? It's putting us off our food or putting us off the live stream."
Yes.
Meaning that they don't feel inclined to do it anymore.
So that's it. So you can put someone off. Maybe also you want to discourage someone from doing something. So you try to put them off. So to put off someone can also mean to discourage someone. A friend is coming round today to see us, but we don't want them to come round today. So I will try to put them off. I will try to put them off. I want to discourage them from coming today, and then maybe they can come on another day. So you put someone off. You discourage someone from doing something.
And you might make up a white lie to put them off. You might say, "Oh, I'm not feeling very well today. Can you come next week?" And you are feeling all right. You just don't want them to come on that day.
That's it.
So you put them off. White lie. There's another expression.
Well, a white lie is a lie that really isn't harmful. It's not a harmful lie.
Yes.
You are saying something that's not true, but it's harmless. It is a white lie, although some people believe that white lies are just as bad as the dark lies.
Or they could be. It could be an untruth, but sometimes it's better sometimes to tell a little fib, a little untruth.
Fib.
Sometimes, like that, for example, if you didn't feel very well, and or you didn't want your friend to come round, you might just make up a little white lie and say, "Oh, I've got to go out and see the neighbour, or I've got to do some job around the house. Can you come next week?" You don't really have anything to do, but you just don't want them to call on that particular day. So it's a bit of a... You are going to see them, you're just putting them off, and you tell a little white lie.
Okay, another one. Here's another one I was asked about, because we were talking about light the other week when I was using my little spotlight to shine on Mr. Steve's face. And someone asked, shed light on something. You don't remember that?
I don't.
You don't remember when I had...
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Yes. Oh, yeah. I do. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to make out I'm forgetful.
Well, you just said you didn't remember.
But I did really. I was just joking.
Okay, then. So really, you're not actually going senile. You're just a...
No,
you're just a pathological liar.
I'm senile. I don't know what you're talking about. I've got all my faculties, Mr. Duncan. If we say we've got all our faculties, it means mentally we're sharp, and as we were when we were young.
Except, Mr. Steve,
it's living with you.
Shed light on something. So if you shed light on something, it means you...
It means that you explain something.
Yes,
about something.
That's it. You explain something, you make something very clear, or something very obvious. You make it clear to maybe one person or maybe a group of people. You shed light on something. You reveal something maybe, or you show the meaning of something. So you shed light on something. So you shed light on a subject. So maybe something a person is unaware of. So you explain it to them. You will shed light on that subject. You will allow them to understand it.
I could say, Mr. Duncan, what's happening in tonight's live stream?
Yes.
And Mr. Duncan might say, oh, it'll just happen. And I might say to him, well, will you just shed a little light on that?
Yes.
To give me some idea of what's going on. Shed some light on that.
So shed light on something means to explain or to show what something is or reveal something.
The inference being that it was all a bit dark and you couldn't really see anything.
Yes.
You're putting some light on it. Oh, it's all clear. So somebody explains what's happening and suddenly it's clear to you.
Well, there is the opposite, of course, and that's being in the dark.
Yes.
So you can be in the dark about something as well. And that means you don't know. So it's kind of the opposite. So you shed light on something if you are in the dark. So both of those expressions are used quite often in English.
They are.
So, Mr. Steve, what was in your hand? Just you seemed,
a pen.
You seemed very eager to show me something.
No.
Oh, okay. Then you were waving this around all over the place.
That was the register.
Yes. But so we've got lots of new people. So we think we have around 300 people now on
my list,
on Mr. Steve's register, and I can't believe how much time you spend.
Hours and hours.
It's incredible.
Well, I spent about an hour tonight, because when the live stream starts, I've got this printed off ready, and I'm going through here, ticking off people's names.
Tick.
And it's actually because the live stream is very busy. I'm frantically. Oh, there's another name, and the names are popping up all over the place, or left, right, and centre. That's an expression we use a lot, isn't it? Oh, the names popped up left, right, and centre. It means they're coming from. If something's coming from all directions, you say, oh, they were coming from all over the place, from left, right, and centre.
Yeah, something that's hard to control or deal with. So maybe lots of things are occurring at the same time. We can say they're coming from left, right, and centre. Left, right, and centre.
I haven't seen the live chat.
Tick.
I've been here, Mr. Duncan, over half an hour,
Okay.
40 minutes in fact, and I haven't seen the live stream at all
Well,
since.
Well,
About half past
you
10.
can't see the live stream because we're in it.
I meant the live chat.
Oh, I see.
Maybe I am going a bit senile, Mr. Duncan.
I think you might be. That's it. The end is coming. Mr. Steve is losing his marbles.
Losing his marbles. Yes, that's another expression.
It is?
To say that you are mentally not as astute
What?
as you used to be.
Yes, it means you're going senile,
It means you're going a bit, yes.
forgetful. Your brain is starting to dissolve in your skull.
You often say about old people that they're losing their marbles.
Yeah, that's it.
Is an expression we use here in the UK.
It comes to all of us.
Mirac EK. Now that's an interesting name, Mirac, because there was a car, a Maserati, was my favourite car when I was growing up, called a Maserati Mirac. So that obviously, I think that must mean something. Mirac must mean something, because to name a car Mirac, that obviously must mean something. So maybe you can tell us what your name means, Mirac. And while you're on, I'm going to tick you off the list because you are on here. I've seen you before, Mirac et al. There we go. I've just ticked you off on my list. Manuel Fantoni says, "Hi, Mr. Duncan. Hi, Mr. Steve. Nice to meet you as a surprise when I go to bed." And I opened YouTube to facilitate my sleep. Manuel, are you saying that we are sending you to sleep? Manuel has put his YouTube on because he wants to go to sleep and we've popped up. Marbles, says Shirin. Exactly. Sergio says this is a Russian joke.
Oh, okay.
Putin goes to kitchen at night when the fridge suddenly shivers because of starting engine. Putin, calm down, don't panic. There is nothing to worry about. I just want to have my yogurt. Don't get that, Sergio.
I don't understand that joke.
But I'm sure it's very funny.
I hope we're not offending any Russians.
Yes, by reading that out.
Yes, well, you read it out. I didn't.
Well, I quite admire Putin.
It's
He's
a shame.
strong
It's
leader.
a shame you don't pronounce his name right.
Okay, Putin then.
That's
Putin.
better. Yes, if you're going to admire someone, at least get their name right.
Nobody messes with Putin.
Okay, then.
Which is, you need a strong leader.
All right. I don't know where this is going, by the way.
No, I don't either.
I don't know where we're going with this.
It's because you've got a Russian watch, you see, where we're trying to, ingratiate ourselves.
Well, you are.
Ingratiate. If you ingratiate yourself with somebody, it means that you're very nice to them. You're fawning over them.
You're
You're
what?
saying, "Oh, Mr. Duncan, you look
What do you mean?
wonderful tonight."
You're fawning.
Oh, you're young, aren't you, Mr. Duncan? How old are you? 24? Or you do things for them.
Your breath stinks tonight, by the way.
Thanks a lot. Halitosis. Are you saying I've got halitosis, which is bad breath?
I'm not looking at your feet.
That's the beans on toast with cheese.
Don't forget to join
That's
us on
what that
Sunday,
is.
by the way. Don't forget to join us on Sunday because we are going to the beach on Sunday. We're doing something extra special. And to give you a taste of where we are going, so we will be at the beach on Sunday, and there is a little taste because we were away last week on our holiday and we did some filming by the beach. So there you can see the sea, you can see the sand, and on Sunday I will show you some more bits, including something very special, something very wonderful and amazing that Mr. Steve did.
It wasn't that amazing.
It was amazing. I thought it was. Look, keep saying that it's amazing.
Okay, it was amazing. Nobody else could ever possibly do what I did.
We want people
on the
to.
beach.
We want people to watch.
Yes, Mirac is from Turkey.
Sorry.
I'm just going back to the person called Mirac.
Oh, okay. Then let me find the right button.
There we go.
Thanks, Steve. Apparently, Steve is now producing this program.
Well, Merak is from Turkey.
Okay, then.
And Ptaj
Okay.
thinks that Merak means something like satisfaction, but maybe Merak can tell us, as he is Turkish. And has he heard of a Maserati, which is an Italian sports car?
Well, Merak,
called Merak.
Merak means something like satisfaction.
Well, that's what Ptaj says. But
Yes.
is that what it does mean?
To be happy or
That's
satisfied.
what we want to know.
To be
because
happy.
I always wanted this car, this Maserati Merak. It
Yes.
was my favourite car.
So you tell us every week.
It had flying buttresses.
Really?
Flying buttresses.
Okay.
Look it up.
I don't want to know
It's a
about your...
beautiful car.
Oh, for goodness sake. I don't want to know about your buttress.
Nicole's going to sleep. We're sending Nicole to sleep as well.
Yeah, you're sending me to sleep, to be honest. It is 11:30, though.
Yes, Alice RWL. Ingratiate means to butter up.
Yes, Alice, to butter up, to you try to get favour from someone. You ingratiate.
Yes, you
It's
try
a-
to get favour.
It's a good word, actually. I like that word.
Or you suck up to. That's another phrase. You suck up to somebody. It's not a particularly positive phrase because it means that you're doing anything to please that person and you don't necessarily want to do it.
Svetlana asks, is it not hot on the beach? It wasn't hot last week when we were there. It was very windy, though, and there were quite a few people there, but it wasn't too hot, but it was incredibly windy. I can't believe, I couldn't believe at the time how windy it was. Oh, Shireen says flying buttresses. I suppose now, Steve, now it's out. We should explain what on earth a flying buttress is.
Right, okay, right.
What is a
okay.
flying
A
buttress?
flying buttress? I'm going to have to draw it because I can't possibly describe it.
Oh dear, we're all in trouble now.
Here we go.
That's it.
Uh,
Well, while Steve is drawing, Belarusia says one of my childhood fears was sleeping alone. Yes. Do you know what? That was one of mine as well. I used to hate it when my parents closed the bedroom door and switched the light off. I always felt very, very scared in the dark. I used to hate it so much. In fact, what I used to do when I was a child, I used to open the curtains so the street lights outside would shine into my bedroom and light my room up. So I used to love that. But the only problem is, way back in the 1970s, they used to switch the street lights off. They don't do it anymore. But the street lights, all of the lights in the streets would go off at around about midnight or 1 o'clock in the morning. So I used to hate it. I used to hate the fact that the street lights would go off because that was my last little bit of light. So I would always try to get to sleep before the street lights went off. And it became an obsession. I don't think I've ever told anyone this before, but it was actually an obsession every night. I would get so anxious, so upset that I couldn't get to sleep before the street lights went off. I used to hate it. I used to get very, very nervous. So let's have a look. Oh, yes, my T-shirt is not a birthday present. It isn't a birthday present. I've had this for about 2 years. Barzan asks, what's the difference between truck and lorry? Well, they are kind of the same thing. They're just different words. So truck, lorry are the same things. The only difference, of course, is in American English, they say truck. In British English, we tend to say lorry. So that is the main difference. Although having said that, we often say truck over here now as well. So you might hear someone say, look at that truck, it's going too fast. Or look at that lorry, it's going too fast. But they are basically the same thing.
Mirak said that it means, I think he said wonder. It's back there, Mr. Duncan. I think
Okay.
the name means wonder. So what a wonderful name to have.
That's great.
And somebody wanted to know what are flying buttresses.
Let's-
Well, as you know, I'm a wonderful artist, Mr. Duncan.
I haven't had any evidence of that.
I'm actually crap at drawing. I'm not very good, but here is an example. Right, this is a flying buttress.
You could have
In
used.
the-
You could have used a.
Where's the camera?
Why didn't you use this pen? Then they can see it.
Oh, right. Right, that's a building. Okay.
Where are you going?
I don't know. Where's the camera?
You're going to fall over in a second. Where
That's
is
the
cam-
building.
It's that thing with the big eye on
All
the
right,
front.
Mr. Duncan. Right, so you've got that's a church with a big steeple.
Yes. Come back,
Okay.
Steve. Come back. You're making me wait there. I will.
I'll go in the middle.
I will do something very clever. I'm going to zoom in. I will zoom in.
Not on my
it.
wrinkles.
Not
Don't
on
zoom
your
in on my wrinkles.
Okay, calm down, Steve. Oh, dear. I will do some live.
Go on then. Zoom in.
Live camera work now.
Oh, this is too exciting. Oh, it's that one. Oh. Oh, Mr. Duncan, that's perfect. Right. That'll do. Here's a building. Let's call it a church. And it's got a spire on top. Now, the spire
Yes. Wait there. Can I
has
put-
to be secure.
Steve, can I put the camera on first?
Oh, I didn't know the camera wasn't that. Right, okay.
Goodness me.
Right, here we go. Here's a building.
Yeah.
Here's a building, and it's got a spire, a big spire. Let's call it a church. But with that plonked on top of the building, it makes it a bit unstable. So they put these little things on the side here to stabilise the structure, and they call them flying buttresses. You see them on lots of buildings, lots of churches. Now, the Maserati Mirak.
Okay. Why are you shouting? Just
No,
because you're closer to the camera.
Shut up, Mr. Duncan. The
You're close-
Maserati
You
Mirak,
have
this
to
is the sports car,
You don't have to shout.
had these flying buttresses on the back like that, going from the roof of the car down to the bonnet.
Why?
Because it was style and it looked nice, and it probably made the car stronger.
Oh,
So
did it-
there we go.
did it
That's
make-
my explanation of flying buttresses.
Did it make the car go faster?
Yes.
Oh.
All these things make the car go. Will you go revert back to the other camera, Mr. Duncan? I'm aware that I'm far too big.
Actually, I quite like this. We
I
should-
don't.
We should do
I'm going
this.
to click back. There we go. I've just taken.
Steve
it's
doesn't.
not working.
Steve.
Oh, what have I done, Mr. Duncan?
Okay, you put that right now, Steve.
I don't know what I'm
Steve
doing.
has been clicking on my encoder, and now he's broken it. So what are you going to do now, Steve?
No idea. Reset all. How about that?
No, don't press. Whatever you do, please don't press reset all.
Go on then. Go for the cross in the. There we go.
Oh, I see. Now you know how to do it. Okay, then. Dear me. There we go. We're back to
Oh,
normal.
we're back.
Back to
It's
normal.
a good job you know what you're doing, Mr. Duncan.
It's a good job I know.
Anyway, I've just
'cause
bored everybody explaining what a flying buttress is.
I know a flying buttress is just normally some sort of support.
It's a support.
that
exactly.
is in mid-air.
It's a support.
Yes. Ooh. Dear.
So why didn't you explain it then?
Well, because I asked you to. Because you mentioned it.
You've had all that time to think that up.
Yes. That's
Back
what.
to the live comments, Mr. Duncan.
That's
You
it.
know how I like to look at the live comments.
Yes. Or maybe we could look at this for a while. We can look at Mr. Steve's face close up.
Oh, it's horrible. It's hideous. I'm hideous, Mr. Duncan.
Well, you said it.
Mirak, yes.
What?
Which I think means wonder, somebody said.
How many times have you said Marak tonight?
That was my favourite car in the 1970s. I always wanted a Maserati Mirak, and I never got one.
Did
Because
this-
they've all now rusted away.
Yeah. So, are you telling me they don't make Maseratis anymore?
They do, but they don't make Maseratis. Don't make sports cars in the sense that when they used to two-door. They make sort of saloon cars now, and they're not independently owned. I think they're owned by by an Italian. I think they're owned by Fiat.
Oh, I see. It doesn't have the same ring, does it? It doesn't sound quite the same. Fiat.
Mind you, I think Ferrari's owned by Fiat.
The Fiat Maserati.
Oh, Mika says I'm an artist. There we go.
Caradas says a flying buttress is an arc-boutant or arch buttress.
That's it. It's supporting something.
You see them often in churches. Going across the ceiling or the roof, you will see them above you.
No, that's something different, Mr.
A
Duncan.
flying buttress.
They're on the outside of a building.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
And they're supporting the structure.
That's nice. I still.
I'm an architect.
Well, I watched a program the other night, and there was someone going around a big stately home, and they were inside the building, and they looked up and they say you can see the flying buttresses.
Oh, they were lying.
Going across the ceiling, and they were the main supports. So I think you've yes. And
Well, I'm not an expert.
and that was on the BBC.
I'm not an expert.
It was on the BBC.
Flying buttresses.
It was on the BBC, so it must be true.
I'm not an architect, but all I know is that that's what they look like on the Maserati Merak.
Someone asked, are the cassettes on your shirt real? No, they're not. This is a stylish T-shirt. I've had this for about 2 years. I didn't have it for my birthday. However, I did have this rather nice watch. Mr. Steve bought this. Shall I? In fact, we could do this on the camera. Let me just arrange that. Let's just have a look.
Putting your hand in my face like that, Mr. Duncan.
I'm not. I'm just showing the watch. Wait
You want
there.
to zoom in on your watch, do you now?
Ah, it's the lovely gift from you.
Yes.
So wait a moment. Here it comes. So there it is. There is the watch that Mr. Steve bought for me. Isn't that lovely?
All the way from a far eastern country. Well, it's east to us. The company is Russian owned, but the watch is made in Lithuania. Are people really that interested, Mr. Duncan?
Well, I've been asked.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I see.
Well, there you go. I'm bankrupt now. I've got no money left. That watch cost me all my bonus from last year.
So there it is. There's Mr. Steve's.
I'm going to give you a Chinese burn. That's what we used to call it at school.
I'm going to give you a punch in the face.
Won't be the first time.
So there we go. I hope you enjoyed that. So that's what Mr. Steve. Do you know, Mr.
A bit of a
Steve?
show off, Mr. Duncan.
No, I'm showing what you bought me because I was asked on the live chat what I had for my birthday. Could you show us what you had for your birthday? And I'm showing it. Why are you so annoyed? I'm showing the gift that you gave me. None of that makes sense. I really do worry. I'm sure you're losing your mind. I really think that.
No, you're losing your mind, Mr. Duncan.
Yes, okay then.
Phosphorescent. Yes, says Caradas.
Yes, my little watch. The watch glows in the dark.
Very clever, Caradas. Phosphorescent. It's got a green glow, this particular watch has. Well, it was Mavie. It was Mr. Duncan that wanted the watch.
Well, the story is not quite as simple as that. I mentioned a few months ago, in fact, it was after Christmas, I mentioned that I saw this watch on television, and I said to Steve, I said, oh, isn't that lovely, that watch? And Steve remembered that I said that. So he gave this to me on my birthday last Sunday. And it was many months ago that I said that I liked this watch, this particular watch. So that's what Steve does sometimes. He's so kind.
I am.
That's
I'm
true.
just wonderful. Ingles says,
Yes.
or should I say Klebson from Brazil, do you say what's the time or what time is it?
You can say either.
You can say or either.
Yes. You can say, what's the time? Or what time is it? Or you can ask, do you have the time? Or do you have the time on you?
What time is it now? What time is it? Yes, you would probably what's the time. if you would say that more sort of it's slightly more informal, probably.
You can hold someone at gunpoint and ask them to hand the watch over. And then you will know what time it is.
What time is it, please? You would say after that. You wouldn't just say, what time is it?
Well, after taking their watch.
What's the time, please?
Please, could you please tell me what time it is? Mika says, I still have many cassette tapes that I use to record my favourite songs. Yes, well, people do. People still use cassettes to record things. I've got lots and lots of cassettes of many different types of recordings. Some music, some from my early radio shows from the 1980s, before I met Steve. So yes, they were a very useful form of recording media. Yes, a great form of recording.
Taj, whose name I'm struggling to pronounce.
Yeah.
Babu is saying that sometimes the translation is probably different in different languages, but satisfaction or wonder. The car certainly was a wonder. The Maserati Merak was a wondrous car. Oh, Palmyra says she's got a watch. No, it literally is made. It's not made in China. It is made in Lithuania.
Yes.
We know that for a fact.
Yes, it is. It is not a joke. It is real. This company is actually Russian, and they have teamed up with another company to make these watches in Lithuania for the European market.
Yes, you look it up, Palmyra.
It's very complicated, but it's true.
Yes. They're all handmade. They only make about 5 or 6 a day.
Mavi says it is now nearly 1:45, 1:45 in the morning in Turkey. Mavi is up so late. It is already tomorrow in Turkey. How is tomorrow? Is it good? Is it better than today? I hope so.
Klebson says that her sort of name that she or he gives themselves, Ingles e Vida, means English is life.
Yes, like Vida Loca. Living La Vida Loca.
Yes.
Yes.
I wondered when you'd spot that.
I did a long time ago.
I'm getting tired, Mr. Duncan.
I know, I can tell.
My energy is flagging.
I can always tell. Well, thanks, Steve, for letting us have a look around the fridge tonight. I enjoyed looking around the refrigerator. So that's what you missed earlier. You missed Mr. Steve taking us through the refrigerator. He gave us a live tour. So that's what you missed. But don't worry, you can watch it all again later, because we will be back on Sunday, and you can watch the live streams. They are recorded on YouTube, and they will also have subtitles later on. So for those who don't understand a single word Mr. Steve says, you can actually watch the subtitles, and then you will know what he's going on about.
Has anyone admired our kitchen cabinets?
No.
Oh.
It's probably because they're out of date.
Well, I refurbished those kitchen cabinets. Refurbished. I sanded them down and I re-varnished them.
Yes.
Because they were looking tired and old. They look fantastic. They look brand new.
They look okay, but I think they are now out of date.
No.
They're very old-fashioned.
They are a bit, but then we are, so...
Yes. Let's have another look. So you see, yes, I think our kitchen is a little out of fashion now.
It is a bit.
It is a little bit, yes.
That microwave looks dreadful.
Yes, we bought that microwave about 20 years ago.
It's like the kettle. We've had the same kettle for about 25 years, haven't we?
Yes, we've had the kettle, no, even longer than that. We've had the kettle for nearly 30 years.
Well, we thought we'd broken it. Have we told this story about the kettle?
Your mum broke it, didn't she?
Yes, we thought my mother came to stay. We've had this kettle. We're quite attached to this kettle.
By the way, if Mr. Steve's mum is watching...
She isn't.
Hi!
My sister could be, and then she could tell my mother, but I doubt it.
Yes.
My mother likes a hot water bottle when she goes to bed. So when she came to stay, I put the kettle on, but Mother switched the kettle off. Now Mother
You sound like Norman Bates.
switches the kettle off at the socket.
You sound like Norman Bates when you say, Mother, Mother.
I didn't say it like that.
You know who Norman Bates is, don't you?
Yes, you're on about that Psycho film, aren't you? Anyway, to cut a long story short, we thought we'd broken the fridge. It was Mum's fault because I switched it on the next day and it was already on at the socket and there was no water in it and it made a funny noise and all the lights went off. It had blown a fuse. So I thought it was broken. We did get it going eventually. So I looked up whether we could buy a new one exactly the same and we couldn't because they were no longer available, being 25 years old. But when I looked it up on Google, there was one in a museum.
Yes, our kettle is in a museum.
In Switzerland.
A Swiss museum actually has our kettle.
It's an example because it's made of, it's a very unusual kettle made of green plastic. And they obviously made it 25 years ago. And I wanted to get an exact replacement for it. And it wasn't available, of course, but it's in a museum. So it's probably worth an extreme amount of money. Anyway, it's working again now because all it needed was to cool down again. And there it is.
There it is. So this kettle is almost 30 years old. It's from the 1980s.
Yes.
I'm not joking. So this kettle is very old. It's made by a company called Philips.
It must be an incredibly tough make of kettle because it's been going since the 1980s.
Since the 1980s we've had this and it still works, even though Mr. Steve's mum tried to break it.
It was an accident.
I'm not sure about that.
Well, you see, when the kettle...
This is now in a museum, this.
It is. It's in a museum. You look up that...
I'm not joking.
Philips Corsina.
Yes.
And you will find it in a museum. I think it's Switzerland. I can't remember exactly where.
There is a museum of plastic design.
Yes.
It's a museum of plastic design, and one of the museum pieces is this kettle.
Yeah. Exactly same colour. They made a pink one and an orange one.
Yes, but the green one is in the museum.
The green one's in the museum.
So there. Welcome to Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve reminisce about our old kettle.
Well, I hate some people, if something's looking old, even if it's still working, they'll chuck it out and buy something new. Now, I get a lot of pleasure and satisfaction from literally using things till they wear out.
Yes, I think you've mentioned this before,
yes. So that kettle will not be replaced until it stops working.
That story is almost as old as this kettle. Can you guess where this is made? Any guesses? Let's have a look at the live chat. I'm sure everyone has fallen asleep. Can you guess not how old, but where this was made?
Well, would it have been made in China in 1980?
This shows the age because it wasn't made in China. So that's what's surprising about this. So it actually...
Hong Kong?
I'm not asking you to guess, Steve.
That's where things always used to be made before they were made in China.
So lots of things during the 1970s and 1980s were made in Hong Kong. But that's when Hong Kong was still owned or run by the British, you see. And that's been in the news recently. Yesterday, Hong Kong was in the news because there are lots of things going on there, political things. So where do you think this was made? The Netherlands. That's a good guess.
Philips is a Nordic company, I believe.
Yes, I think they are based in the Netherlands,
yes.
Philips. And they're still going now.
Manuel says it's almost a piece of modernism.
Yes.
Maybe said it's older than she is.
Yes, it's older than most of our viewers, I think.
I know. Imagine how many people do you know My sister's had about 10 kettles in the time that we've had that one.
So this very simple plastic
It
kettle...
wasn't even expensive at the time.
This very simple plastic kettle is nearly 30 years old.
Whoever designed that needs to get an award.
And the make is on the bottom, and yes, made in, it does say underneath where it's made.
You couldn't read that, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, Louis Mendez is very clever. Well
Poland.
done. Well done, Louis. Yes, this kettle was made in Poland.
I think Lewis, I should say, not Louis, Lewis, needs some applause for that.
Well done, Louis. Louis. Yes, it was made in Poland way back in the 1980s. I think it was about 1989 we bought this. It's one of the first things we ever bought. And it's still working perfectly. Despite Mr. Steve's mum and despite Mr. Steve turning it on with no water inside.
You must have very good safety systems, because I turned it on with no water in because my mother... See, that's how you turn it on. And, of course, it automatically switches off like that. But before it boiled, my mother switched it off at the socket. So the next morning it was still on. So I switched it on because I always turn the socket off at night. So I thought I'd switched it off. So I turned it on. There was nothing in the kettle. The kettle came on, made a funny noise, blew the fuse in the house. And that fascinating story will be here forever.
I think we might be the only people on the internet talking live to the world about a very old kettle.
I think so. Nobody anywhere has probably ever spoken about this kettle. And certainly at this particular moment in time, they will certainly not be talking about the Philips kettle that was made in 1988 or whenever it was made.
Let's have a look.
It's making me very sleepy.
Manuel says you can make a new T-shirt with the drawing of that object. I think so. This would make a great design on a T-shirt. You could have this as a retro vintage T-shirt showing the old kettle. Maybe on Sunday.
Can I go to bed, Mr. Duncan?
I'm
very tired.
We are going now because we've had such a lot of interesting chat. We went into the kitchen to have a look around the refrigerator. We looked at some phrases. We looked at some words. We looked at Mr. Steve's wrinkles very close up. We looked at my new watch. And now we are looking forward to going to sleep.
Well, I am.
Yes. So I will see you later, Steve. I will say goodbye to the live chat. Goodbye to Manuel. Goodbye to Caridas.
Goodbye to Thomas. Goodbye to Ingles, Evida, Klebson. 1,500 watts. I think it's more than that. I think it's 2,000.
2,000 watts.
I'm guessing it's 2,000 watts.
So it's not very...
Can you read the bottom of there?
It's
only water.
For the love of...
It's only water, Mr. Duncan.
Steve...
What does it say? Let's have a quick look.
Steve has just turned the kettle upside down and poured water all over my keyboard.
That's because I'm tired.
You do realise that electricity and water don't go together?
Yes, but that's not plugged in, is it?
Well, no, but... Look. Steve?
If we suddenly disappear in a puff of smoke...
Yes, there'll be a puff of something in a minute.
Then it'll be my fault. I must admit that was my... I did just... say, what's the...
Yes, don't do it again.
What's the wattage of this kettle? Oh, my God, is this what we've actually sunk to now?
This is but you've poured water all over my keyboard.
It's 2,000 watts, by the way.
I really do think that you
Needs
are...
a 13 amp fuse.
I think you need a 13. I think you need a 13 amp fuse.
My fuse is blew years ago.
Goodness me. Anyway, we'll see you later, Steve.
Bye-bye, Rosa. Bye-bye, everybody. Manuel, T-Jen, everybody. Are you going to fade me away, or shall I just slink off?
I'm just going to put the live chat over your face. So you can say goodbye one last time.
Goodbye.
There you go.
Goodbye. Oh, I see. Go.
There we go.
Bye-bye.
Mr. Steve is going now. Get off. Get off.
I'll take the kettle with me.
Mr. Steve has gone away, but he will be back another day. So thanks, Steve. He's gone. I now have to mop everywhere up. I now have to clean all the water up that Steve has spilled everywhere. I'll see you on Sunday. Yes, we will be back. On Sunday, I have to now clean and clear and dry everything up because it's all covered with water, thanks to Mr. Steve. I will see you Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. For those who are not sure, you can see the details right now on the screen. Live English every Sunday, 2 p.m. UK time. And Wednesday, 10 p.m. UK time. Thank you very much for your messages on the live chat. Thanks to Gretel, Jamelia. Oh, hello, Jamelia. I didn't see you. Also, Manuel, Betul, and also Mavi, Svetlana, Carlos, Mika. Thank you very much for all your messages tonight. It's been a very busy one and also a very long one. Nearly 2 hours we were on tonight. And I will see you on Sunday. It is coming up to midnight now in the UK. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying thanks for watching me, talking to you live. Thanks also to Mr. Steve for joining us here tonight as well. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Until Sunday. Ta-ta for now.